Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I have been gone for a while. I apologise. I've been in a big reading slump and I have been tired and yeah. Instead of reading, I have been watching a lot of rubbish and then also watching just an insane amount of Regency stuff because Bridgerton, the new Bridgerton comic was coming out, so I thought I'll rewatch them. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, I've got like a month to wait to finish it. So then I rewatched all the Jane Austens. And yes, so I've been very much stuck in about the 1810s. But I'm sort of coming out. So to ease me back into filming, I thought I would do another Shelf Raiders. Explosions, etc. Dinosaurs peering out the sky. Or velociraptors, whatever. So, Shelf Raiders is my version of a book shelf tour, library tour, but I'm focusing on only specific books. So that gives you an insight into my taste a bit more, like which of these have I loved, which of these have I hated, loathed entirely. Which ones am I looking forward to reading? Because obviously I've not read all of these. I am not a machine. And yeah, so on my non-fiction shelf there wasn't that many that I dislike because I tend to get rid of books that I don't like. But classics I am more inclined to keep if I disliked it. Don't know why. I think maybe that would be useful to the kids. I don't know. But for now I tend to keep most of the classics I read. There's a few examples, which I might mention later actually, of ones I got rid of because I didn't like. But yeah, most of these will be ones that I have some interest in or have loved, and a couple I hated. So, shall we get on? So this is my classics shelf. They're kind of in order, but mostly via publisher, e.g. the Vintage Red Spines, the Penguin English Library editions, we've got Oxford, the various incarnations of Wordsworth when they were blue, the blue ones, the new blue ones, or are they black? No, the new black ones with their hideous covers. I'll see if I've got any examples of their hideous covers. We've got some nice orange penguins. So, where shall we start? Actually, I know where we're going to start, because there is a book on this shelf, which is the reason I came up with doing Shelf Raiders. Because when I can't sleep, I lay in bed and I make myself think of lists. Either I have to name things, so Sarah, name all the winners of season US Drag Race Series 1 to 10. Because I actually can't remember anything beyond that because I don't watch it anymore. Or Sarah, name your top 5 classics. Or your top 5 non-fiction. And I can't remember what this made up list is I gave myself for this book. But I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, that's an interesting book because I've only ever heard one other person talk about it, and that was on Bookstagram, and we were both so thrilled that each other had heard about it because it's a sort of under the radar classic. And so then I thought of Shelf Raiders at like 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. So yeah, shall we start with that? And we're going to start with War with the Newts by Carol Kopek. Now this edition is translated by, I think it's a couple. It's because there is a preferred translation, which you can read about on Wikipedia, that has even been promoted by like UNESCO writers, something like that. So War with the Newts is in the vein of Animal Farm, Brave New World, and this is a sort of Czech classic from I think 1936. And so this is when a group of sentient talking newts are discovered, and humans did what humans do best. They enslaved them. And then what happens is the newts have enough and there's a war. So I read this a few years ago and I was like, wow, this is weird. I'm into it. And I haven't read anything else by him since. But this man, super interesting. So Carol Kopek and his brother together both introduced and created the word robot. So his brother invented the word, and our writer brother introduce it to the world. So it comes from a word, I can't remember, I will get Editing Fairy to put it on the screen, what the origin word was in the language it was originally written. To mean like drudgery, serf, which obviously makes complete sense with robots. Now, robots not in this one, but it is the sort of genre that Karel Capek was known for. He died quite young, he died just before World War II started, but he was on Hitler's number 2 most wanted list in Czech, and they didn't know he died, and they were searching for him, and sadly his brother was taken, who was I think a very well-known painter, and he sadly died in a concentration camp. So he's definitely an author that I think is so worth exploring, and I'm going to try and read his story with the robots in soon. It's only short, it's under 100 pages, because I really like reading those sorts of classic dystopians, you know, where they are sort of predicting the future. I mean, is there going to be sentient newts? I mean, I kind of hope so. Who doesn't? But if so, I hope that we will learn a lesson and not turn them into slaves. So yes, that was the reason I wanted to do Shelf Raiders, for books like this. I would really like to reread this in the translation that is preferred, because I think it'd be interesting, because normally, you know, there's always preferred translations, but the fact that this one heavily is not recommended over others. So yes. Number 1. What else have we got on here? Here's one that I read half of it and I put it down, not because I wasn't liking it, but because I am terrible. I'm a terrible person. And that is The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists. Philanthropists.
A philanthropist?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It gets blocked up in my mouth. I don't say it no good. So.
The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists by Robert Dressel. I've said that so many times that I've lost meaning of the word. So this is, you can see I was enjoying it. I was tabbing it, because this is a fantastic look at working class Britain and people thinking about how to rise up against the masses. Like, why am I trudging along and working these hard, long hours just to scrape by, and then barely scrape by at all a living, while the big fat cats who run the these are builders, based around a group of builders, do nothing, and they can decide on that whether you're worth having anymore. So it's a big book, and this is one of those ones that I picked up when I was heavily pregnant. I did the same with Anna Karenina, which I also have not finished. But I was really enjoying this. I thought this is really fantastic, and I will get back to it. And when did this come out? I can't remember. 1914. And I just thought it was a really accessible writing style. I thought the story was really interesting. The sort of divide between the guys who had started to have these sort of socialist feelings and then trying to discuss it with the other workers who just not interested. They just want to get on with it. They don't want to be having debates, because to them there is no hope. They work, they die. That's kind of, they're like, this is just life. There is no better. And they sort of ask, like, why not? So I really need to get back to this. It is big though. It is big, but that's fine. We like big books when I can actually read. But yes, that's another really interesting one which I'd like to get back to. What else do we have? What else? Oh, here's one of my favourites that I've read in the last few years, and that is Of Human Bondage by W. Somerset Maugham. Can I find my other one by him that I want to talk about? So, first up, I read The Moon and the Sixpence, which is a fictionalised version of Gauguin. So this is about a man who just randomly decides to leave his fairly well-to-do life, his wife and his children, and just become a painter and move. And I thought the writing in this was absolutely beautiful, but the man hated women. So I thought, right, okay, I really want to read more of his writing. It's so beautiful and enticing. So I decided to go big, because this one's quite small. And so I picked up this one, and oh, it was so good. Of Human Bondage, which is a coming of age story. It's about a man called Philip Carey who becomes an orphan. He's raised by, I think it's his aunt and his uncle. His relationships, his unusual relationships with women, and how he's just trying to find his place in life. Now, I had the most fantastic reading experience of this, because I read this either before, I can't remember which order it was. I read this and David Copperfield one after the other, and they were both like very similar in they are about a young man growing up and trying to make their way in life. W. Smith Baum is definitely more cynical than Dickens. I don't know. This just doesn't have much faith in relationships and marriage. It's definitely significantly less misogynistic than this. I mean, it's still. I think the man was not a fan of the ladies, but the writing, the storytelling, it was pure magic, and I loved it. And I have since read The Razor's Edge, which I also really loved. So I think W. Somerset Maugham is just going to be one of those authors I just want to read them all, because his writing is sensational. And one thing I always really love is that without fail, the man is going to say the word sensuous. Think like Nigella talking about sensuous things. He loves to say the word sensuous. And every time he says, I'm like, bingo! But yeah, I just loved it. It's so good. It's so worth every single page. I would have read more. I just think it describes as, it says, Of Human Bondage is the first and most autobiographical of Maugham's masterpieces, and a masterpiece it is. I loved it. Let's put these back. Oh, there's one here. Hang on. I shouldn't talk with my back to you. It's rude. I'm being good and putting them away as I go, because otherwise that's a future Sarah problem. I don't want that. Here's one that I read and I didn't like. And this is Mr. Weston's Good Wine by T.F. Powys. I thought the man would be Welsh with a name like that. He's not. That's not related. Just, what do you get? It's a cool cover. This sounded so good because it's kind of Faustian. This man and he's like apprentice or whatever, Mr. Weston's Good Wine, appears one night in a village selling goods, and it's a battle of good and evil. But I thought it was dull as ditch water. There's also just a few uncomfortable bits in it. It just didn't really do what I wanted it to do. I love a Faustian bargain. I love books where there's demons and potential demons, or angels coming to Earth. I don't know why, it's just a thing I like, and so I like these books where there's like a bargain for your soul. Like Needful Things by Stephen King is one of my favourite books. And it just was a big plop. I think I gave it 2 stars. But it's just an intro. Maybe someone else has read it and would talk to me about it, because it's not very well known. It's just a random one I found in a charity shop, and I read it last year. And I just thought, oh, it sounds so good. And it was not. It was a flop. It was a big, flat plop in the toilet. I spend too much time with children to say things like that. There's obviously quite a few Victorian classics on the shelf, which I love. But I have done a video all about my favourite Victorian classics, which I will link. So I'm not going to talk about any Victorian classics unless they're ones I have not mentioned in that video, because otherwise I could just be waxing lyrical about Wilkie Collins, My Main Man, and North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, that sort of thing. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Right. What next? Why did I do that? What else? Oh, here's a sort of another one which I started and then never finished, but again, not because I didn't want to, because I just put it down. And that's Melmoth the Wanderer by Charles Maturin. And this, it's got my book, it's got a book in it. illustrations. Oh, actually, it's quite good. Illustrations by Laura Crow, who also did my Richard III painting. I'm not a Ricardian, just think the man was cool. So I got 265 pages in, and I would get back to it. And so this again is like one of those gothic classics, 1820. So we're talking just on the cusp of George IV coming in to power. And I was really enjoying it. About selling your soul, a Faustian bug, you see what I mean? But I have not finished it. But I think I will pick it back up this year because I was really enjoying it. But I think I picked this up during the pandemic, and I became pregnant in the pandemic because of course you did. Of course I did. And so I didn't read that much, and so a lot of the books went by the wayside. But I'm really looking forward to getting back to this one. I still think about it a lot, and there's like certain scenes that sometimes will just pop into my head. So this is like quite high on my classics priority. This is why I like doing these videos, because I'm really looking at my shelves, because I don't spend as much time in my library as I would like to. One, because it's not the warmest of rooms, and two, because children. I don't really get a chance to just like look at all the books. Like sometimes I'm just popping in to grab something that I know is there. And obviously I know this is there, but I'm not thinking about it. But now I'm thinking, oh, I could read you. And I might make this my next read. So yes. Oh, okay. Right. Can I get that, my step ladder? I got my step ladder out, but I'm not using it. Right, here's one of my favourite classic writers. I love him. So I started off with Maurice, or Morris. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the adaptation, but I should. Which was the book that he was released much later. Yeah, published posthumously. So he wrote it in 1914, dedicated it to a happier year. But actually it came out until 1970, and this is a classic queer story about, well, I guess three men really. It sort of starts with Morris and Clive, who they meet at university, and what happens with their sexual awakening, and but obviously it's 1914, and so it's about them as they grow up and their relationship. And I thought it was just really brilliantly done. I liked that there's hope in it, and that's kind of a thing that you don't always see in queer classics, or even just like modern queer books. They don't always have to be sad. Queer people can experience joy too. And I think that this, I would love to know what Ian Forster would think now, and to know that this has become a classic, and that people love it, and that things have changed, not all for the better, but it's significantly better than what he had. And it was such a really great way to start my journey with Ian Forster. And then I read, which is my favourite. This copy's awful, actually. It's one of the few times where I might, if I see one, get a nicer copy. And that's A Room with a View. I mean, the font. Look at the font of that. That is awful. Who did that? Well, I can tell you who did it. Oh God, I felt like my mum then. I just went, it's because it's rubbish font. Anyway, A Room with a View. Oh, I read this in winter, which, if you're a seasonal reader, don't read it in winter. It's set in Italy, and then in the summers in England, and it is just beautiful. It's about Lucy, who's gone on holiday with her cousin, and she meets these two British men. Well, actually, they're in a hotel full of British people, even though they're in Italy. And her cousin is complaining that they don't have a room with a view. And this gentleman and his son offer to change. And then it's the journey that Lucy has with George. And watch a film of this, the Merchant Ivory one with Helena Bonham Carter. I can't. Is it George Sands is the guy who plays George? I might just be confusing his name, George. It might be Julian Sands. It's so beautiful. The writing is luxurious. You can kind of feel the heat of Italy. There was just something about it that absolutely just body and soul. It took me, and I just loved it, and I think about it all the time. I think it's one of my favourite books with some of the most romantic scenes in it, and it's funny, and it's clever, it's beautifully written, it's just a fantastic time. And then we have Howard's End, which I also loved. I thought this one would be my favourite, but actually it's definitely A Room with a View. And this is about two families and the relationships and how they meet, and how there's quite a lot more drama in this than the other ones, and it's got some scenes where you're definitely like, that sort of thing you wouldn't write about nowadays in a dramatic scene. You would just go, right, okay, did that happen? I just love those scenes in classic, everything, like you're thinking like Austen, there's like someone's fallen or they've got a cold, and it's like, oh my god, what if they'll die? It's like, well, it probably wouldn't. But back then, everything's like, just feels bigger because you don't have the same medicine back then. Like, if you took a bad cold or if you had a bad fall or whatever. But there's stuff in here that I'm like, yeah, okay, well, nowadays, maybe you'd be like, I don't think that would happen. But what a grand time. Again, completely absorbing, completely beautifully written. I'm really sad that I don't have many more to read. I have also read Where Angels Fear to Tread, which is probably one of the sort of more depressing stories, and definitely kind of feels like a precursor to this, A Room with a View, with the sort of Italian English sort of thing. But I think this was his first. Was it his first? Possibly. Anyway, I read this one, so I don't have many. I've got A Passage to India, and what's the other one? The Longest, something about Journey. I don't have that one yet. But anyway, so I love him. I'm team Somerset. No, E.M. Forster. I'm team E.M. Forster. I've got to put loads of books away now. I'm too excited. I'm like a little puppy. Right. Oh, I'm not going to put that one back up on the shelf on my tippy toes. Oh, okay, no, I'll do it. Oh, while I'm up here. No, not while I'm up here. I'll do that later. Right. What next on Shelf Raiders? White. Hands of the Dust. And where are you? Decline and Fall. Here's another author that I'm really keen to read more by, and this is Evelyn Waugh. I have read Decline and Fall. That's a cool. I read a library copy and I wanted my own, so I found this nice, funky old penguin one, which is about Paul Pennyfeather, a teacher who. It was his first novel. Yeah, very funny, silly, beautifully written. And then I read A Handful of Dust, sort of mixture of like English country story and also The Forest, I think. Is it this the one with the forest? I think so. Anyway, there's some weird stuff going on. And I just really don't, really want to read Brideshead Revisited. Like, that's a high priority. I really like books set in this period. I love the sort of Edwardian, the sort of decline of the big houses, rich people problems. I can't help it. I love rich people drama. I just love all the drama. But I have realised I'm talking quite a lot and I haven't actually spoken about many books. Of Vile Bodies, I want to read. Really want to read. What have we got? What do we got? Okay. This is a book everyone's heard of. Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Couldn't get it out of my head how to say it right then. I read this 10 years ago. I haven't read anything else by Dostoevsky yet, but I did really enjoy it. It's obviously incredibly depressing. I think it's the most depressive of the Russian books I've read. And I'm really keen to read more by Dostoevsky. Where should I go next? Because I have quite a few though. I've got the brothers I've got The Idiot, which maybe I should read next. Maybe it'll be about me. I've got a few. So what's your favourite Dostoevsky's? If you read them, please let me know. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Talking of Russian, let's go for one of my faves. Can I find it? Where are you? Nursery rhyme in my head. Bulgakov. So I read The Master and Margarita first. Again, I read this maybe 10 years ago. Absolutely loved it. This is translated by Michael Glenny. Fantastic job. Devil stuff on Earth. Russia. Tick, 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 tick. That's like Sarah Catnip. But dog treats. If you want to try Bulgakov, start with The Heart of Dog, because it's weird. It's about a scientist who puts male testicular glands into a dog and the dog starts talking. Did I sell that nicely? If you like this, you'll like this. If you don't like this, you probably won't like this, because this is talking cats, this is talking dogs. But one is much shorter than the other. I love weird stuff, especially in Russian context. I love Russian books. I love Russian history. I just very passionate. And again, need to read more by Bulgakov. But I'm not sure where to go next. So also, if you have a favourite Bulgakov that's not one of these two, please hit me up. I tell you a big Russian book I've read. I've read War and Peace. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Was that a round of applause? Do I hear? Yes, thank you. I read this, I don't know, a while ago. And the main story, when we're actually with the characters, I loved. But the historiography could go to hell. I think this is coming from someone who had to study historiography in university, and I hated it. And actually, I'm looking, I can see a bit right in front of me, which is about the history of histories. I've kept it on my shelf just so I can swear at it sometimes, because I hated it. But the writing, fantastic. The storyline, fantastic. The war mechanisms, the history of it, not really my thing. But I'm so glad I've read it. And like I said, I am going to be continuing to read Anna Karenina, because I have started it. What he calls his first proper novel. Because I was enjoying that. I've also read The Death of Ivan Ilyich, which is up there somewhere. Don't know where. Which I really enjoyed. I thought that one had lots of good questions about life and death and living a good life and what is a good death and is there such thing. Does having what is considered a good resourceful life mean you're guaranteed or deserve a good death? Does any of us deserve those things? It was just really good, and I think it's one of the last books I read before I had my first child. I felt really smart reading Tolstoy, but yes, I will get back to Anna Karenina at some point. Okay. This is my childhood, very dusty, you can't see that, copy of Wizard of Oz. I've got quite a few in this edition. I don't know who made them, but it's got my name in them. It's got the Cowardly Lion. My mum and dad bought, and it's so pretty, bought me all these editions, and I used to read them. And I love them. I love the Wizard of Oz. I really would like to reread them. Read the entire series, because one of my favourite childhood films, and this is a divisive one because not everyone likes it, a lot of people don't like it because they're wimps, I mean they don't like it for artistic reasons, is Return to Oz. I love Return to Oz. There is a Queen Mombi or Princess Mombi who has loads of heads, and depending on how she feels that day she can change heads, and when I was younger I thought that's so smart, because today I'm not feeling like I'm having a good hair day. I would love to change my head without all the sort of violent implications about how she got them. Sure, there's ethical problems there with having a whole cabinet of heads, several cabinets of heads. And then there's the TikTok with a little robot, and there's the Wheelers. Oh, I love it all. Editing Fairy, please put a clip of the Wheelers in to scare everyone. I mean, entice them to watch the film. But yeah, I love Wizard of Oz. So I've got quite a few, like I say, I've got like Robinson Crusoe, Black Beauty, that sort of thing. I read a lot of classics when I was younger, but The Wizard of Oz always had my heart. Oh, I've got so many books. Okay. Now, annoyingly, I don't actually have all of this author's books on this shelf. Some of them are over there. So, but this is Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. What a lovely classic cover. I found this in the children's section. Children, don't read this. It's incredibly depressing. But this is a lovely edition. Look at that. Anyway, I don't actually particularly like this book. But it's very depressing. I would like to reread it because this is one of those earlier ones I read. I just remember being like, oh, okay. Oh, I've read that. But I've also read The Age of Innocence, which is on another shelf. I'm cheating, but it should be over here, which I loved. And so I'd really like to read more Edith Wharton as well. I think I'll go for The House of Mirth next. I just think it was very witty and clever. I like that sort of thing. I like it. Right. Got to look further up. I can't see. Okay, I don't actually. This isn't actually the right book, but I'm just standing. So, Victor Hugo, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about it. I'd like to read this. I loved Phantom of the Opera. I thought it was a great camp old time. I like that the Phantom is called Eric. I don't know why, just find that funny. Find it funny. But I've also read Les Miserables. Didn't like it. Did not like it very much. Again, the writing, sensational. But, and this might be controversial, I hate the male leads in French classics. They're so whiny. I'm going to find the meme of where it says what men die for in books. And I think it's like Russians, they just die because they want to die. Like America's like, for glory, for their country. And then for the French one, it's like, they die for love. And they do. And they're so whiny about it. I just think, get on with it. And I think that the Jean Valjean and Javert should just have kissed and got over it. I didn't mind all the sewer talk. Thought the writing was beautiful. It's too big. I hated Marius. I thought he was irritating beyond belief. I tried to watch the musical film, but they all speak talk, and I don't like that. I didn't like it. I'm sorry I'm being offensive to the Phantom Limits, but yeah. I struggle. The first part of this, when they're in the countryside and the beginning, and some of the stuff in here, I think it must be less exciting when you watch it on screen because you can't hide certain elements of it very well. I'm like, ooh, that was good. I liked it. There's elements of this I really liked. That sounded like I said elephants. I said elements. There's no, is there no? There's no elephants in this book, sadly. But yeah, not for me, ladies. I'm not into the film. I don't want to watch a musical. Either sing or talk. Don't do both. But yeah, Phantom of the Opera, great time. I'm really looking forward to reading Hunchback of Notre Dame. I had Esmeralda doll when I was little. I loved her. She had like a really fun skirt that I wanted, but obviously it didn't fit me because I'm not a Barbie doll. Oh, here's one I read last year. Goodbye to Berlin by Christopher Isherwood. I really like to read more by Christopher Isherwood. I did quite enjoy this. Not as much as I was expecting. I think when you know that Cabaret with Liza Minnelli is based on part of this, you expect certain things, and it's not the book's fault. It's my fault for expecting a lot more razzmatazz and Sally Bowles. Still a really great time, and I loved his writing. Life is a cabaret. Anyway, there's none of that in there. It's still good though. Right. Do the cabaret. Oh. Now this one's had a bit of a resurgence, not, I don't know if resurgence is the word, but I've seen it around more, and that's Madonna in a Fur Coat by Sabatan Ali, translated by Maureen Freely and Alexander Dorr. Oh, so beautiful. They're passages about love. Ooh, it's beautiful. So this is about a set in 1920s Berlin, and we're looking back at a man's life, how he got there, and he's quite sort of like a ordinary man who not very interesting to people. He's got like a standard family setup, and then I think he's ill one day, and a colleague goes to see how he is, and he learns about his life prior to where he is now, about his love with an artist, and oh, I loved it. It was just beyond beautiful. And like I said, I have seen people recently sort of talk about it. I've seen it on various platforms, but yeah, definitely read it. It is phenomenal. Did he write much more? And this came out in 1943. I'm not sure, I need to look this up, but it was beautiful. Loved it. One that I read last year and absolutely loved again was Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. I'm really looking forward to reading more John Wyndham. I think I said earlier, I really like those sort of classic sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian things. I like to tick them all off and go tick, 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 I've read them all. Because I enjoy them, not because I want to look good. But yes, so what is your... Basically, this is a video asking you to tell me what to read. Where should I go next? You'll be surprised when I say this, but I have actually started another one. I've started the Midwich Cookies, and I got halfway through and I just stopped. For no reason. You can make a good drinking game out of this. Sarah doesn't finish her books, but they're not DNFs. They just sort of go, oh, that's nice. Oh, what's that? I'm a magpie. I like shiny things. But yeah, really enjoyed the writing. Thought it was really interesting. Every time I saw tall plants afterwards, I was like, watching you. I'm watching you. I've got Life's Cabaret stuck in my head now. Alone in your room. I mean, there's modern books up there, which I'm not actually going to talk about because it's cheating. I'm only talking about classics. Oh, there's so many. Oh, Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Some of the most beautiful writing about love. Dirty pervert of a main character, which kind of lets it down a bit because he's a bit yucky. But this is about a man who has been in love with this woman for a long time. She ends up marrying someone else, and he waits until her husband dies to reintroduce himself to her. And it's the story of him in those intervening years, a bit about the woman's marriage, and what happens after when he puts his foot back in and goes, hello, I'm still here, I still love you, hello. Beautiful. And this one was translated by I don't know. Edith Grossman. The Edith Grossman. Very well known translator. Yeah, I really look forward to reading 100 Years of Solitude. That's high up on my list this year. Because I keep starting it and not finishing it. Right. I mean, there's so many. I really want to read the Gormenghast books by Mervyn Peake. Cold Comfort Farm, I really want to read. What else? Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. I can't sing it, I'll get told off. What else is there? Is there anything else I want to talk about? I don't know. I've been speaking quite a long time. Because obviously I can see the timer. Oh, and there is one, and I might leave it. This is A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. I got this when I was in holiday in Wales a few years ago, and I've read it most Christmases since. And this is This is an Orion edition and it's illustrated by Peter Bailey, and it's just a beautiful illustrated story about being a child at Christmas in Wales. I'm trying to find one of my favourite bits. It's about his aunt who's drunk too much. And I was like, yeah, I feel that. I could be her. It's just beautiful paint illustrations, and I just find it utterly charming. And I look forward to when my kids are a bit older to read it to them. Whether they'll care, I don't know, but oh, this is one of my favourites, The Cat at the Fire. Yeah, it's just a lovely little story that I like to read at Christmas, and every year I look forward to reading it. It's one of my favourites to get out at Christmas, and it's just beautiful. And I really like to read Under Milkwood by him, and then watch Michael Sheen read it, because Michael Sheen. Yeah. Do I want to end it there? There's so many books. I have just this vast amount of books, and I've been speaking a lot. Like Muriel Spark, I read quite a few Muriel Spark. I enjoy her. Would like to read more. I mean, I have read quite a lot of the books on the shelf, to be fair, but I'm just trying to see. I would like to at some point attempt an Anne Radcliffe, but they kind of scare me. I read The Monk. That's a book I didn't like, which didn't stay on my shelf, I don't think. I think I got rid of that. By Matthew Lewis. A gothic classic, but I just found it really uncomfortable. A similar gothic classic I got rid of, which was The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Thought it was rubbish. Henry James has never met a child in his life. To say. No atmosphere for me, thought it was rubbish. That's gone. I really want to read Anne Veronica by H.G. Wells. I really want to read Olive by Diana Marie Craig. You know who I mean. I read one of her books a while ago. I'd like to read John Irving. I've got John Irving's on there. Oh, Graham Greene. Brighton Rock by Graham Greene. Fantastic. I love that end of the fair. They're fantastic. I think Brighton Rock might pip it. I just thought it was so good. I'm not normally into gangs. Not really my thing. Not really into gangs. But yeah, I think I've chatted for a long time. So yeah, this is my classic shelf. Yes, so this has been Raid Your Shelves. Is there any of these books that you have read, or seen any that you think I should read now, or I should use as emergency toilet paper? I'm a resourceful girl. So yes, and hopefully I will see you soon. I will hopefully try and upload a bit more often. I'd like to do a recent reads video soon. I've only read 5 books this year. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Sadly, the quality has also been lacking because I've had a 2-star, I've had 2 DNFs, and the rest have been, right, no, not terrible. I did start the year off with a 2-star, which did feel a bit like, well, but yes, so I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will speak to you all soon. Goodbye!
Oh, wow. Good God, y'all.